Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Muslimcast, the podcast of people who want to learn about Islam through books. So this is the second podcast of the series about the book of the famous author Ibn Qayyim el Jawzziyah, entitled Patience and Gratitude. So in this episode we're going to talk about different perspectives of patience. So we'll start by exploring the different types of patience, then talk about the different degrees of patience, then the different strengths of patience, and we will finish by talking about when do you need to be patient. So in this book, the first is the four types of patience. So in this book, the author is defining patience into two categories. We are the physical patience and the psychological patience. Then, in this physical and psychological, we have two subcategories. The by choice, so we have the choice to be patient in this case, so we could not be patient, and without choice. So for the physical, by choice, I can give you an example. For example, like the hard labor, and without choice, for example, bearing illness. For the psychological is refrain from doing illegal things. For example, I can by choice have patience to refrain from doing illegal things, and without choice, so bearing a separation from someone you love. So anyone would agree that it's easier to be patient when you don't have the choice to be patient. And we have an example with Yusuf, who deliberately decided to disobey the wife of Al-Aziz, who was chief minister of Egypt. You can find the story on Wikipedia if you want, but basically he disobeyed voluntarily by patience because she wanted to do something forbidden, and he decided to not do it. So the author in this book as well shows us the difference between us and the angels through patience. So in terms of patience, what differentiates human being from angels and from animals? So in order to illustrate his point, he cites Qatada, who said, Allah created angels with reason and no desires, animals with desires and no reason, and human being with both reason and desire. So the authors shows us that we as human beings can become better than angels if we follow our reason patiently and reject haram actions, and we can become like an animal if we just follow our minimum desires only, or even worse than an animal if we use our intelligence negatively. So this was it about the four types of patience. Then we have different degrees of patience. So the degrees are graded according to how strong and effective they are. So the first one is the motives of religion, and it is the strongest in controlling and defeating whims and desires. And the second one is people surrender completely to shaitan, and the third one are people in between. So the first degree is people who are patient because of religion. The second one, people who just completely surrender to shaitan. And the third, the people in between. So the heart of human being is just a battlefield. It's a battlefield between the soldiers of shaitan and the soldiers of Ar-Rahman. And the patience consists in just trying to go and make the soldiers of Ar-Rahman win over the soldiers of Shaitan. And different types of people. Some people will just surrender completely to Shaitan. Some people will just oscillate between I'm doing good things and doing bad things, then feeling bad, and then doing good things again, so on and so forth. And I think most of us are there. So the author tells us that some people will enter paradise and never hell. Some people will enter hell and never paradise. Some people will enter hell and for some time and then before paradise. So yeah, that was it for the different degrees of patience. Then we have the different strengths of patience, which is the last point. So this was I was saying, the war between Ar-Rahman and the soldiers of Shaitan, and like our heart is a battlefield. So when is patience needed? So patience is needed for the worshipping Allah and follow the commands. So which means like perform prescripted acts of worship regularly, sincerely, and with knowledge. And this has the benefit of making us closer to Allah. Then the second thing, so the first thing, why is patience needed, is the worship, as I said. The second thing is abstaining from wrong action. And the third thing is accepting Allah's decrees and the ruling. So it's qada' wa qadr. And then we have the patience in the time of a trial or adversity, which may be achieved by thinking of the good reward, accepting of hoping for a better time, and thinking of Allah's countless blessings. And the last one is thinking of the previous blessings of Allah. So this is it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. So to sum up the 4 different types of patience: physical, psychological, with choice, and without choice. Then different degrees of patience. Some will be very patient, some will not be very patient, some will surrender to shaitan, some will be in between, and this is what differentiates us from the angels. It's harder to be completely patient because we have the choice of not being patient. So hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for the 3rd episode. See you soon, guys.